Tip is for charging.
For those that look at my channel, I have a couple of Call of Duty videos, me going on a streak or some cool clips throwing around. I want to make my last Call of Duty video since I never planned to touch it again due to my insanity and health. So grab a cold beer, pop it, and digest that shit like the hot pizza you ate last week, because this is gonna be a long commentary. Once upon a time, I was going to be a Call of Duty channel because I was at the time I was really into it. That never really happened. Eventually, my interest of Call of Duty went away. My real life friends no longer plays this. My online friends no longer play this. Call of Duty has changed, and unfortunately, not in a positive way at all. The community could argue that the trust jumping has killed Call of Duty. Others are saying that they need to put this game back to boots on the ground. There are many opinions out there explaining why Call of Duty is not up to their expectations anymore. Whether the game was boots on the ground or not, I was enjoying Call of Duty nonetheless. So what's the problem, Sir Tastic? Well, this game has changed, man. And before I go and tell you why, let me say that I really grew fond of Call of Duty on my teenager days. Modern Warfare 3 was my first Call of Duty game, and the first game that introduced me to this multiplayer game with other players online. You know, I was hooked like a motherfucker. Believe me. This franchise holds a special place in me because it was the game where I could escape and enjoy fighting and being the best. It was a shit, and it's no longer that. I'm going to talk about the negative things that have affected Call of Duty first, what I like afterwards, and what could possibly be the fate of this franchise in the next 5 years or so. In Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, they introduced these loot boxes called supply drops. You could get gears, camo, pretty much a lot of customization for your weapons and characters, right? This also introduced weapon variant, which is the major problem and crisis this franchise is having right now. Weapon variants make or break this franchise for me. At first, I admit, I didn't notice how anti-consumer this practice was in Advanced Warfare. I then started to notice how unfair the system was to the player. You got players with superior weapons. The game is pay to win, but at the same time it isn't, if that makes sense. Let's take a look at this gameplay with the 1911 pistol, which you can only get in supply drops on Black Ops 3. This pistol is OP as fuck, but as you guys can see, I was able to carry distinctive victory due to it. But not all supply drops weapons are OP, but that isn't the main issue here. Whether the supply drops weapons are good or bad, putting weapons in supply drops, aka items that change gameplay in loot boxes, is wrong, man. Very fucking wrong. When you do this, people only buy loot boxes for the weapons, not for some AG ass emo looking outfits, man. When I was gone from YouTube, I didn't upload for like what, 5 months? I was grinding Black Ops 3 crypto keys and trying to get the supply drops. I wasn't playing because I was enjoying myself. I was playing it because I just wanted these fucking weapons. This shit was like affecting me mentally. I never put my whole foot down and bought Call of Duty points, but I did see how I wasn't enjoying this game anymore. I become obsessed on getting these weapons out of the loot boxes. I can only imagine the people that bought Call of Duty points on the chance of getting one. Talking about supply drops, let me mention something else. They implemented the loot box system wrong. It should have been cosmetic only. What is it? Why is it that Call of Duty is the only franchise with loot boxes, season pass, and microtransactions? Because it's the most selling game in the industry and it can get away with it? True, yes. But that might be true, but how come the news gaming outlet doesn't talk about this? Why no one steps up and say, man, Activision, Nico, and Diamond knows it every way possible. You're charging me for a season pass while you guys are making billions on supply drops? You're charging me for the camo that came with the deluxe edition? Microtransaction when you already have a loot box system in place already. They need to be called out on it. Call of Duty to me was a game where I could sit down and throw my little frustration of real life into it. A game where I could just slay my opponents and make them beg for mercy, you know. I could go in and slay fools left and right, pick this kid's sniper and go straight guns with it. All suddenly I felt I should have been phased long ago. Well, back when it was still a sniper clan. The different types of mode. Free throw is fun as hell. Every man for himself and go and kill everything that moves. Getting nucleus while not really going for them. There are times where I put myself in a really bad situation and yet I was still able to come out on top. Top of the cave feeling, wait, did that just fucking happen? The hate mails, the trust stalking, the hacking accusation were on top of the cave for me as well. Dude, I love hate mails. I really do. Every time I receive one, that shit just puts a smile on my face. The matchmaking, the matchmaking. Black Ops 3 is probably the worst has the worst matchmaking in the whole Call of Duty franchise, but it isn't a deal breaker to me. Pretty much every game where my team were losing, I knew that if I didn't win off on a kill streak, my team wouldn't be able to win at all. Hell, there was even one time where literally my first game of the night was a full party team on my opening side. And eventually all my teammates left. And I said, fuck it. First game of the night, might as well go out all out, right? 1 versus 6, here we fucking go. I press forward, getting slaughtered, dominated, losing hope of ever making that comeback solo. But eventually, randoms join in. And what do you know? Not one, but 2 talents on top of my shoulders and blazing through this news one by one, making one satisfying comeback I ever pulled on KC. Yeah, that car exploding ending my streak. One of those Call of Duty bullshit deaths. There are times when you do lose your shit because it is Call of Duty. There might be great memories, but there's some shit in it too. Let's take a look at this clip. Yeah, the spawn instant dead ones. We all had these moments. Those moments where you completely lost your composure and you had to shut off the game and take a quick smoke outside because you're one step away or throwing your PS4 out of the fucking window. Call of Duty's on this hasn't changed at all in the past 5 years or so. Last night, I encountered my first YouTuber on Free For All Lobby, and it was motherfucking Thunder, man. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it until he started talking on the lobby, calling me a sweaty and Holy Trinity 2.0 user. I watch all your videos, Thunder. Like, I'm a huge fan of him, you know. And I played Call of Duty for like 6 years, and this is the first time I ever encountered a YouTuber on a lobby. I had a lot of fun playing with him. This was the first time where I actually felt good playing Call of Duty. I felt that nostalgia, you know, I was missing. Yeah, Thunder ends up leaving, but at the end I tweeted him, and he actually replayed back to my surprise. So Thunder, cheers for the last, man, and GG. This was Call of Duty to me, a game where everybody had an even playing field for one another. We would trash tag one another, send hate mails, carrying potato teammates to victory. But now, what is everyone talking about? What's that? I can get cool shit if I see someone else open their supply drops in Call of Duty World War II? Holy shit, man, great news, right guys? Seriously guys, is this what we're always going to be talking about? Supply drops? Supply drops here, supply drops that. The only reason I made this video is because once upon a time I used to enjoy this game and support it. But this gay ass trend of loot boxes and putting weapons in, it's just pure cancer, man. Yes, I can ignore it and try to enjoy the game without paying a dime on Call of Duty point, but that isn't the point of why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I want Call of Duty to truly return to its roots. Go away with this supply drop bullshit. If you can't, to put weapons in it. I know this is all foolish thinking of me. That would never happen if you look at the sales. I mean, shit, they were pulling what $1 billion on just fucking supply drops. The shit is no longer the same, man. They call me sarcastic, and this is my Call of Duty rant. Catcha.